In a different kingdom, Jacob, the royal footman, delivers an invitation to the royal ball to Lady Tremain's estate. Ella wants to go as well, but her stepsister Clorinda burns her mother's dress and gives her the nickname Cinderella when she is covered in cinders after removing the dress from the fireplace. She finds a key to the land of untold stories in the remains of the dress but puts it away, not believing in magic. That night Cinderella's fairy godmother shows up to get Cinderella to the prince's ball, but she is immediately killed by Rumplestiltskin, who takes her wand. The Dark One then makes a deal with Cinderella, giving her glass slippers, a blue dress and a carriage, and turning her mouse friend Gus into a man in exchange for something precious she is about to have in the future. Cinderella and Gus go to the ball, where she meets Princess Snow and falls in love with Prince Thomas. When she sees him giving a rose to her stepsister Clorinda, she is taunted by Lady Tremaine and flees from the ball, only leaving behind a glass slipper. At midnight everything apart from the glass slippers turns back to the way it was before. Cinderella wants to go to the land of untold stories, but she is stopped by Clorinda, who tells her about her love for Jacob and that Prince Thomas is in love with Cinderella and looking for her all over the kingdom. Cinderella gives Clorinda the key to the land of untold stories so she and Jacob can be free of Lady Tremaine. Soon Lady Tremaine also arrives at her manor, forces Cinderella to tell her Clorinda's whereabouts, shatters the remaining slipper, and locks her in the attic. Snow helps Thomas track down Cinderella and they manage to find her. Thomas proposes to her and she happily accepts. She then runs off to help Clorinda. Lady Tremaine however almost kills Jacob and then takes Clorinda with her to the land of untold stories. Shortly after Cinderella marries Thomas. Snow and David are among the guests. Rumple also shows up and finally tells her his price, Cinderella's firstborn. Still worried about their child's future, Snow and David touch a unicorn's horn and they both have different visions concerning the future of their child.
I'm your mother. I don't care.
On their journey back to the castle, the pair meets Isaac, who tells them that Maleficent has turned into a dragon and laid an egg. He suggests visiting the apprentice instead. The apprentice tells Snow and David about a spell to transfer their child's potential for darkness into another living vessel. To perform this spell, Snow and David steal Maleficent's egg and the apprentice performs the spell. However, due to Isaac's influence, he neglected to tell them that the vessel would be banished from this realm. A portal opens and the dragon egg, as well as Cruella and Ursula, are sucked to the land without magic, where the two witches take the magic in the egg for themselves to stay young and abandon Maleficent's baby in the woods.
I'm a really terrible person, and I left her in the woods to die.
You did what?
Oh, don't be so flabbergasted. You know I'm not mother material. Ursula and I took that dragon egg she was in. Oh, the magic helped us stay young, you know. Wonderful thing. But the little brat...
My daughter.
Yes, well...
The child is found and later adopted by James and Priscilla Page. She is named Lilith. Back in the enchanted forest, Cinderella sends Snow and David a unicorn mobile. They put it above their unborn child's crib as a sign of hope for a chance of redemption, and they promise each other to be a good example for their child. As punishment for what he made him do to Lily, the apprentice traps Isaac in the book. He then communicates with Merlin through a spell. The sorcerer tells his apprentice that the girls' fates remain interconnected. The apprentice then leaves the enchanted forest for the land without magic to find Lily. Meanwhile, Cinderella plans to run away, having discovered she is pregnant. When her husband returns early from a hunting trip, she tells him about her deal with Rumple. Thomas suggests entrapping Rumple instead. A cell is created for Rumple by the dwarves, and Blue gives Cinderella and Thomas a quill with squid ink to render him powerless. Cinderella manages to get Rumple to use the Blue Fairy's quill and he is imprisoned. As the price of magic for the imprisonment of the Dark One, Thomas disappears, and Rumple promises her she will never see him again until her debt is paid.
All magic comes at a price. It looks like someone is just paid.
Don't listen to him. We'll find Thomas.
No, you won't. Until that debt is paid. Until that baby is mine. You're never gonna see him again. In this world or the next Cinderella, I will have that baby!
Meanwhile, Pinocchio once again leaves home, presumably because he was kidnapped by Stromboli. Geppetto comes to rescue him. On their way back they are attacked by a whale. Pinocchio sacrifices himself for his father. Because of this selfless act, Blue is then able to turn him into a real boy.
Remember, Pinocchio, be brave, truthful, and unselfish. So long as you do that, you will always remain a real boy.
In Dunbrock, Merida now has identical triplet brothers, Harris, Hamish, and Hubert, and Eleanor is trying to make her into a proper princess of royalty. Merida discovers that she is to be betrothed to the son of one of her father's allies. Eleanor explains that failure to consent to the betrothal could harm Dunbrock, reminding Merida of a legend of a prince whose pride and refusal to follow his father's wishes destroyed his kingdom. The allied clan chieftains and their firstborn sons arrive to compete in the Highland Games for Merida's hand in marriage. Merida twists the rules, announcing that as her own clan's firstborn she is eligible to compete for her own hand.
I am Merida, firstborn descendant of Clan Dunbrock, and I'll be shooting for my own hand!
She easily bests her suitors in an archery contest, shaming the other clans, and after a heated disagreement with Eleanor, runs away into the forest. Wisps appear, leading her to the hut of an elderly witch. Merida bargains for a spell to change Eleanor, and the witch gives her an enchanted cake. When Merida gives Eleanor the cake, it transforms her into a bear, unable to speak but still retaining most of her human consciousness. With the help of her brothers, Merida gets her mother and herself out of the castle and returns to the witch's cottage, only to find it deserted, and discovers a message from the witch: unless Merida is able to mend the bond, torn by pride, before the second sunrise, the spell will become permanent. Merida and Eleanor are led by the Will-o'-the-Wisps to ancient ruins, where they encounter Mor'du. Realizing that Mor'du was the prince in the legend her mother told her, Merida vows that she will not let the same thing happen to her mother, and concludes she needs to repair the family tapestry she deliberately damaged during their argument. They return to the castle to find the clans on the verge of war. Merida intends to relent and declare herself ready to choose a suitor as tradition demands, but Eleanor prompts her instead to insist that the firstborns should be allowed to marry in their own time to whomever they choose. The clans agree, breaking tradition but renewing and strengthening their alliance. Merida sneaks into the tapestry room with Eleanor, while Fergus, looking for his wife, finds out she's gone. Eleanor, who is losing her humanity, attacks Fergus, but suddenly regains her composure and flees the castle. Mistaking the queen for Mor'du, and thinking it has eaten his wife, Fergus pursues the bear with the other clans, locking Merida in the castle. Merida escapes with the assistance of her brothers, who have also eaten the enchanted cake and are now bear cubs. She rides out after her father along with her brothers and on the way, repairs the tapestry. Fergus and the clans capture Eleanor, but Merida is able to thwart them before the real Mor'du arrives. Mor'du battles with the clan warriors and targets Merida, but Eleanor intercedes, holding off Mor'du and causing him to be crushed by a falling menhir. This releases the spirit of the prince, who silently thanks Merida for freeing him and transforms into a wisp. Merida covers her mother in the repaired tapestry, but she remains a bear. As the sun rises for the second time, Merida realizes the mistake she has made and reconciles with Eleanor, unknowingly fulfilling the true meaning of the witch's message, thereby reversing the spell's effects, turning her mother and brothers back into humans. With Mor'du gone, Merida and Eleanor work together on a new tapestry when they are called to the docks to bid farewell to the other clans, and ride their horses together. Somewhere in the enchanted forest, Captain Ahab loses his leg to a white whale and vows to get his revenge on the animal. Snow, now very pregnant, asks David to be allowed to see Rumple in his cell, as he may know something about the Queen's threat. She also makes this weird claim for some reason.
She poisoned an apple because she thought I was prettier than her.
The plot hole, for sure.
The Dark One tells them about the curse and about their child being the savior in exchange for their unborn child's name.
Emma. Her name is Emma.
That night, Snow makes a wish upon the blue star.
I wish we had what we needed to help Emma. To give her a chance at a happy ending.
Blue grants that wish and everyone breaks into song. The Queen is very unhappy about this development as everyone's song's magical powers prevent her from casting the curse. Snow and David meanwhile seek out Hook, who has returned to the enchanted forest, so he can take them to the Queen's castle in exchange for an opportunity for revenge on Rumple. Regina asks Rumple for help to break the singing spell, but he tells her to figure it out herself. In Oz, Zelena prepares a magic music box that can steal someone's singing voice, in order to show Rumple that she was the superior student. She sends the box to the enchanted forest and Regina uses it on everyone, breaking the singing spell. Blue then tells Snow and David that the songs were never meant to be used against the evil Queen. Instead, they are supposed to make sure Emma is not alone during the final battle every savior has to fight. To keep the songs safe, she makes sure everyone forgets they ever sang and puts everyone's songs into Emma's heart. She then tasks Geppetto and Pinocchio to build a wardrobe out of the realm's last enchanted tree. Geppetto makes her promise that his son will be one of the two people that are going to be saved. Meanwhile, Hook breaks into Regina's castle and kills Claude, who was tasked with guarding the tower prison cell, so he can ask Belle how to kill the Dark One. When she refuses to tell him anything, he knocks her out. The Queen stops him from killing her and hires him to kill her mother instead. Snow and David hold a war council meeting with Granny, Red, Geppetto, Pinocchio, Jiminy and some knights. Blue tells them about her plan with the wardrobe but claims it can only protect one.
That's a lie!
We don't do that.
A lie!
Hook returns to his crew to have them get the Jolly Roger ready for the curse. He then returns to the Queen's castle. Regina, however, wants to test Killian, before sending him off to kill Cora. She tells him to kill his father as a sign of commitment. Having been awoken from the sleeping curse by his nurse, Brennan Jones is still alive after all this time. After confronting Brennan, Hook decides to spare him, thinking he has changed. When Hook learns that Brennan named his third son Liam and overhears him saying the same things to him he told Hook the night he abandoned him, he concludes Brennan didn't change after all and kills him. He returns to the castle with Brennan's bloody shirt as proof of his father's death.
I've done what you asked, Your Majesty. Now if you know what's best, you will never speak about this again.
Of course. Why would I ever want to?
Regina then enchants his Hook with a potion, enabling him to rip out one heart. She then sends Hook and Claude's corpse to Wonderland. The pirate fails to rip out Cora's heart as it isn't in her chest, and she forces him to tell her all about Regina's plan and to help her kill her daughter.
I'm the Queen of Hearts. Do you really think I'd be so careless as to keep my heart where everyone else does? This is how it's done.
Cora pretends to be dead and Regina mourns her mother, admitting that she loved her.
Love is weakness. Oh, Mother, you are my weakness. Because I love you.
Moved by Regina's words, Cora decides to spare her.
What happened? You didn't kill her.
There's been a change in plans.
What would that be?
My daughter's curse is coming. We have to protect ourselves.
The evil queen gathers some villains for the casting of the dark curse, only to fail miserably. Henry advises her to seek out Rumplestiltskin to find out why the curse is not working.
Tell me what I did wrong.
And for that, There's a price.
What do you want?
Simple. In this new land, I want comfort. I want a good life.
Fine. You'll have an estate. Be rich.
I wasn't finished. There's more.
There always is with you.
Yeah. In this new land, should I ever come to you for any reason, you must heed my every request. You must do whatever I say, so long as I say. Please.
You do realize that should I succeed, you won't remember any of this.
Oh, well then, what's the harm?
Deal. What must I do to enact this curse?
The Dark One tells her that she needs to sacrifice the thing she loves most in order for the curse to take effect. Meanwhile, Blue tries to give Snow and Charming hope that Emma will save them eventually. Using his enchanted harpoon, Captain Nemo finds the now orphaned Liam and takes him aboard the Nautilus. Back at her castle, Regina rips out her father's heart and enacts the dark curse. Geppetto and Pinocchio are still working on the wardrobe. Snow goes into labor. Grumpy sees the curse approaching and rings a bell.
The curse! It's here!
In Wonderland, Jefferson finally manages to create a second working hat. He uses it to escape Wonderland and returns to the enchanted forest. His portal is immediately stolen by a frightened inhabitant of the enchanted forest, taking it to Oz. This is a possible way to explain why Jefferson is the only Wonderland inhabitant that was cursed and why there was a second hat in the season 6 finale.
The Mad Hatter's hat. What? Wasn't it destroyed? He was a hatter. He had multiples.
Regina visits Rumple one last time in his cell to gloat. He tells her about the Savior and that one day she will come to him to fill the hole in her heart she created when she killed her father. Blue warns Geppetto not to send Pinocchio through the wardrobe because Emma needs her mother, but he doesn't listen and sends him through the wardrobe. Cora casts a protective spell on a part of the enchanted forest to protect her and Hook from the dark curse. The Nautilus swims outside the reach of the curse, therefore being unaffected by the stopping of time under Cora's shield. On October 22, 1983, Snow gives birth to Emma and has to give her up to protect her from the curse. David manages to send the baby through the wardrobe before he is stabbed by a black knight. Pinocchio and Emma arrive in the land without magic. The evil queen taunts Snow and her dying husband as the curse hits. The dark curse affects the enchanted forest and the land without color and freezes time in every other magical realm. The only exception is, wherever the Nautilus went. Since the land without magic is the only confirmed world not frozen in time during the curse, it is possible that Nemo sailed the Nautilus there, assuming the Nautilus can not only travel between magical realms. Meanwhile, Kurt Flynn and his son Owen are camping somewhere in the woods in Maine when the curse cloud hits, creates Storybrooke, and knocks over a tree onto their car. In the morning, the two of them discover the town and meet its sheriff, Graham. Regina wakes up in her manor and inspects the town. She shows Mary Margaret John Doe in the hospital and revels in the fact she doesn't remember him. She then meets Owen and Kurt at Granny's diner, surprised to see strangers in her town.
Who the hell are those people?
I don't know. They just showed up. They're camping in the woods near the toll bridge. I was just as surprised to see them as you are.
I don't like surprises, Sheriff. I find them threatening. Do you know what happens when I feel threatened? Bad things.
The young boy gives Regina a keychain. The days pass and Regina is getting bored with her curse. She wants to complain about it to Mr. Gold, only to realize he isn't awake.
I'm not happy.
I believe Dr. Hopper's office is down the street.
Regina then invites Owen and Kurt for dinner. Owen and Regina bake together. She then offers them to stay in Storybrooke, but Kurt declines. The mayor tries to prevent their departure. When she learns Kurt already picked up his car from the vehicle repair shop, she uses Graham's heart and commands him to arrest Kurt for drunk driving. Kurt overhears that and escapes. Graham and Regina chase after Kurt and Owen. Kurt is arrested, Owen manages to escape Storybrooke. Regina then murders Kurt and buries his body at their old campground. Returning with the local police, Owen tries to find Storybrooke again, but it is hidden from sight to any outsiders. Meanwhile, Pinocchio, now going by August, abandons baby Emma and the orphanage and runs away with some other kids. Emma gets put into a foster family until she is 3.
I ended up in the foster system and I had a family until I was 3, but then they had their own kids, so they sent me back.
In a movie theater in 1989 Minneapolis, a young Emma watches The Sword in the Stone. For some reason the group she's with only arrives to see the last 10 minutes of the movie. She steals an Apollo candy bar and an usher approaches her. It is Merlin, once again communicating via visions from his tree. He warns Emma that one day she will have the opportunity to remove Excalibur from the stone, but she mustn't.
Leave the sword alone.
In the following year, Emma runs away from her group home in Minneapolis and starts living on the streets. August convinces Emma to turn herself into Child Protective Services. She picks Swan as her last name, inspired by the Ugly Duckling. 2 years later, in another children's group home in Minnesota, young Emma hums a tune while recording it for a singing contest, only to be interrupted by a fellow orphan who tells her that she will realize that she is alone like the rest of the orphans. In 1992, Balefire finally escapes Neverland using the shadow. 1 year later, Mary Margaret finds a pixie flower in Storybrooke and puts it on John Doe's bedside table at the hospital. The magic flower wakes both David and Snow from the curse. Snow breaks David from the hospital and sends him to Mr. Gold for help, while she is distracting Regina. By mentioning Emma's name, David also wakes up Rumple from the curse.
Emma. What a lovely name.
Soon Regina suspects Snow and David of being awake and tries to test her, only to be interrupted by other citizens of Storybrooke. Rumple tells Snow and David that they need to go back under if they want the curse broken, as it is too soon for Emma to become the savior, and gives them a potion to put them back under the curse. Snow and David summon a portal to get to Emma, but decide not to go to her so she can become the savior and save everyone. They both go back under the curse with Rumple's potion. Rumple drinks the potion as well. 2 years later, Emma is in another group home in Boston and watches a younger girl, Cecilia, being adopted.
Don't worry, you'll find a home too, Emma.
Giving up all hope of ever being adopted, Emma runs away from the group home. 3 years later, she is back in Minnesota. While trying to steal from a store, she meets Lily, who covers for her. The two of them bond and decide to break into a family's empty summer home. Lily draws her birthmark on Emma's wrist and they record themselves with a video camera. Eventually, however, Lily's adoptive father finds them and confronts Lily about her behavior. When Emma learns the truth, she doesn't want anything to do with Lily and goes back into the system. 1 year later, Emma is finally taken in by a new foster family. Suddenly Lily shows up, needing her help. The foster family invites her to stay for dinner. Emma then discovers via the news that Lily is a suspect in a store robbery. Lily asks Emma to steal back her necklace from her toxic boyfriend and Emma does so. When she returns home, however, she learns that Lily only used this opportunity to steal from Emma's foster family.
You brought a criminal into our home? You endangered our children?
Our children?
Emma runs away. She returns Lily's necklace and tells her again that she doesn't want anything to do with her. On a bus, Lily meets the apprentice who tells her about her mother. Soon Emma is put into a new foster home with Ingrid. She is bullied by a boy named Kevin and wants to run away again, but Ingrid convinces her to stay. The two of them bond and Ingrid plans on adopting Emma. However, when she pushes Emma to use her magic, she scares her off and Emma runs away again. At some point, August visits Nepal.
Nepal. Best people. They have these prayer temples carved into mountains that are overrun with lemurs.
What's a lemur?
Ruby!
Just give me a sec.
They're little animals, you know? And they have these eyes that reflect light, so at night it looks like they glow.
In early 2001, a 17-year-old Emma steals a stolen yellow bug and meets Balefire, now going by Neal. According to a wanted poster in the episode, claiming Neal was born on March 23, 1977, and not counting the Neverland years, Neal is 23. He protects Emma from the police and takes her out for a drink on a carousel in a closed amusement park. There they talk about what it means to have a home.
It's how you know you've really got a home. Because when you leave it, there's this feeling that you can't shake. You just miss it.
The two become romantically involved.
They had a torrid affair, which resulted in a scandalous teenage pregnancy. In prison.
They start robbing stores together, but they eventually want to settle down together somewhere. Emma picks Tallahassee. Neal, however, then learns that he is wanted for stealing some watches from a jewelry store years back. Emma agrees to get the watches from the locker Neal hid them in. He gives her one and wants to sell the others. That night, Neal is confronted by August, who urges him to leave Emma and convinces him to do so by showing him what's in his box.
You left me. And let me go to prison because Pinocchio told you to?
Emma is arrested for his crime. Neal gives August the keys to the yellow bug and some money for Emma.
If anything changes, and she does her job, this insanity ends, she's free.
I'll send you a postcard.
August uses the money to go to Phuket and only sends Emma the keys to the yellow bug. In prison, Emma learns she is pregnant. Meanwhile, Ingrid uses the apprentice's scroll to find Storybrooke. She uses rock troll memory magic on Dopey and takes over his ice cream shop.
Just who the hell are you?
I'm the ice cream lady. Would you like to try some chunky monkey?
You see this figure? Do I look like I eat chunky monkey? Why haven't I seen you before?
I don't know, Madam Mayor. I've worked here since... Oh, well...
Forever?
Yes. Forever. I hate the cold. I don't even know why I have this job. It's like I pissed someone off in a past life and they cursed me.
On August 15, 2001, Emma gives birth to a baby boy and gives him up for adoption.
I can't be a mother.
In Storybrooke, Regina talks to Archie about the emptiness in her heart and asks Gold to procure a child for her.
I need a child, Gold, and I need your help.
Well, I'm flattered, but uninterested.
Not like that.
Pushed by fate, Gold finds Emma's baby for Regina and the mayor adopts him, giving him the name Henry Daniel Mills. Regina struggles with soothing Henry. She brings him to Dr. Whale and tasks Sydney to find out who Henry's biological mother is, to make sure her son doesn't have some hereditary illness. When she learns who Emma is, she confronts Gold and wants to return Henry to Boston. However, she changes her mind at the last moment and decides to keep the child.
Henry's my son.
The man from the adoption office tells John and Michael that Regina changed her mind and that they can't adopt him.
Pan will not be pleased. This is why we don't give up. We will get that child.
Archie tells Regina to put Henry first and let go of her fears. To do so, Regina drinks a forgetting potion to forget who his biological mother is and what a threat she poses to her curse. After being released from jail, Emma changes addresses 7 times, including a 2-year stay in Tallahassee.
Really, what did you enjoy so much about Tallahassee?
In Storybrooke, Regina often takes Henry to the beach to feed the seagulls. When Henry is in 2nd grade, he is scared of the monsters under his bed, the dark, and an old creaking oak tree. Regina makes him face his fears. In 2009, Emma steals money from a few stores in Phoenix, gets arrested and takes off on her bail. Cleo Fox finds and arrests Emma. Emma gets out of her handcuffs and tries to find out something about her parents using Cleo's resources. Cleo agrees to let Emma get the file about her in the Hancock County Courthouse. It, however, only contains one newspaper article about the day she was found. Thinking there might be more, she breaks in at night and is caught by Cleo. They both run from the security guards and Cleo accidentally gets impaled on a glass shard. Cleo dies and Emma runs from the cops. She then turns herself in. After her time in jail, Emma becomes a bail bondsperson, finds Cleo's daughter Tasha Morris, and tells her about her mother. She also buys a red leather jacket, just like the one Cleo had, to serve as a symbolic armor. Henry starts noticing that things are strange in Storybrooke, as he is the only one changing. Regina puts him in therapy. When he is 10, his mother buys him a Tron lunchbox. In October of 2011, Mary Margaret finds the storybook in her closet and gives it to Henry. He starts believing in fairy tales and the curse. Soon he runs away from home, and this is where the pilot episode takes off. The rest of the story is more or less chronological. If you want me to break down the rather complex timeline concerning the Wish Realm and the new Enchanted Forest, please comment below.
That is indeed a complicated story. The timelines alone would make one's head spin.
Thank you for watching, and always remember,
all magic comes with a price.
What the hell am I doing in here?